Hi, Miss Charlie here with your parent support video update. Today's video is going to focus on workplace wellness tips. Many of us are having to work from home, and so I was lucky to be able to attend a webinar last week from the PBIS Coalition, and they gave a beautiful presentation. So I'm going to try and recreate some of those tips to help keeping our sanity at home and wellness. So the first thing is what we call a mood meter. So to be able to kind of see where you're at, I'll put the link to this visual in the description. But basically, your job is to moment figure out how are you feeling. Um, in this mood meter, you can see that you can gauge energy and pleasantness and just kind of find a zone of where you fall in. And based on that zone, you want to really realize that this can change from moment to moment. And it's good to check in so you can be able to create a plan or a map to kind of getting where you need to be able to address your zone. We also were in a meeting last week about Capturing Kids' Hearts, which is another amazing program we use at Twin Rivers. And one of the presenters had said, we have bad moments, not necessarily bad days. And that's something to really, critically analyze of, am I upset or am I in this zone because of a moment that happened that I can address right now? Or is it a series of these moments? So again, knowing where you are at in your zone allows you to kind of create a plan in place. So this presentation gave 5 tips to kind of keeping wellness in the home. The first tip is to maintain a morning routine. So whatever that looked like before, we just kind of throw that out the window, unfortunately, and we're going to create our new norm. So what does your new norm morning routine look like? You want to create that and try and recreate that every single day to get your morning, going in the right direction. Tip number 2 was to designate a workplace. Make it consistent, comfy, well supplied, add accessories that bring you joy, and really importantly, don't make it a commonplace that you use regularly in the household. When you're working from home, it's really hard to compartmentalize work and home duties. And when you put your workplace on something like the kitchen counter, where you and your kids or your family eat at multiple times a day, it's really hard to compartmentalize your work mode from being present with your family. So if you have to drag your most comfy recliner out into the garage and make that your work zone, just separate it from other places in your house that you would usually use on a typical basis. Tip number 3 is to create a daily schedule. Be realistic about expectations, set boundaries, take breaks, and then make sure you create it with everyone in mind. So working a straight 8 hours if you're at home alone with 2 kids, I mean, that's almost unrealistic. And if it is realistic, give me a call. But setting boundaries of, when you're able to check emails, or if someone's emailing you at 8 o'clock at night, that might be their work time because they had to help, educate their kids during the day. So as long as you're setting your boundaries and, when am I going to check email? When am I going to have these meets or Zoom meetings or what that looks like will help you in determining your schedule. Tip number 4 is to stay connected. Get out virtually. Get outside your home, get outside of your work. We miss these gossip room, break room conversations. So, if you have to recreate those break room conversations, then create a Google Meet or Zoom outside of the work and don't talk about work. Just talk about your day or what's going on. And then the 5th one is to practice self-care. So self-care is really important. That mood meter really kind of comes into play. And self-care is more than just painting, your fingernails or going for a run. It's physical, emotional, social, and spiritual. And, going for a 5-mile run, but eating a whole pizza, those are counterproductive. So in order to really reach, ultimate self-care, you really have to address all of these types of, all of these areas. So find what your coping strategy is, share it with the world, own it. And just kind of find that balance. So hopefully some of these tips helped. And again, if you need some help with anything, help at twinriverscharterschool.org.